Oh, sorry about that. I had it on mute the whole time. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so a little housekeeping notes I wanted to tell you about. Okay, we'll just restart the stream at the 10-minute mark right now. Okay, so hold on just a second. Let me get this on and cracking in the. Here we go. All right. Shout out to everyone around the world. So a little housekeeping notes I wanted to tell you guys. There is a Jon Jones video I have coming out right now. It's called Jon Jones Faces Racism by MMA fans, and in particular, MMA Guru fans, right? Start of the stream. So that will be on the 10-minute mark, which we got right here. So here it is. Now it's on the 10-minute mark. We have officially started the live stream. So Volkov is pretty upset at Jon Jones, and in particular the UFC, for their excessive favoritism that they're showing towards Jon Jones. Now, look, is there any merit to that? I would say there is, right? Obviously, we don't know what is going on right now. They are obviously trying to preserve this fight with Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones somewhere down the line, because look at all the cards that are stacked up already. Okay, we got cards that are stacked up from the springtime, the end of the springtime, which is right now, and then all the way into the summer. And then we even have fights that are going on maybe in September, right? So where does Jon Jones and homeboy Tom Aspinall really fit into all this? Well, we don't know. Obviously, if the UFC is going to want to keep this a secret, that's their right to do so. But that's just the reality of this particular situation at hand, right? So, okay, let's go and read the article that they have going on for Alexander Volkanovski, okay? So, hey, Asu, Wiz Sapatura, how are you, my man? Shout outs to you. What does Asu mean? Is that some kind of phrase or something like that? Let me know, my man. Let me know what that means. And also, let me know what part of the world you are from. I think this is the first time I've seen you in this chat, but shout out to you and welcome to the chat. Welcome to the most epic mixed martial arts channel in the history of mankind, and I'm about to show you why. So here we go. Sports Illustrated article. Okay, so it says, and I quote, "It's not just Tom Aspinall and UFC fans at their wits and with Jon Jones's title reign." Yes, we're all getting a Jon Jones fatigue a little bit, right? It's other UFC heavyweights. Okay, first it's Curtis Blades called for Jon Jones to be stripped, and now another heavyweight has vented their frustration with the stagnant division in, yeah. So in other news, 50,000 fans have signed a petition to remove Jon Jones. You guys remember that. Remember what I was telling you about Jon Jones, being stripped and having a petition out for it. Ezu Sapatura says he is from EU1. EU1. Okay, what part of the world is that, my man? Let me know on the comment section below, okay? Jon Jones has held the title for over 800 days, slowly approaching Cain Velasquez's heavyweight title reign. And perhaps maybe that is the motivation behind Jon Jones and why he's doing it. Well, during this time, he defended a belt once, and the top ranks of the division have ought to do. Okay, Paddy Pimblett offers grim outlook for Tom Aspinall entering a targeted fight with Jon Jones. So Alexander Volkov says that Jon Jones is taking advantage of UFC privilege. Interesting choice of words there, right? UFC privilege, like as if there's some sort of racial element behind that. But anyways, speaking of the championat, heavyweight contender Alexander Volkov vented about Jon Jones's UFC privilege. Drago was caught in a controversial split decision loss versus Cyril Gane. By the way, a very good fight, and could have easily been next after Jon Jones's send-off fight. Of course, I have a negative opinion about the delay of Jon Jones and Aspinall fight, since I am less likely to fight for the title. The time is running out, Volkov remarked. In other divisions, there is a real conveyor of fights for the belt. Therefore, I am unhappy. I have fought for the belt a long time ago, and if not for Jones, but I can understand him. Jon has the right to do what serves him best. And the best question here is not for Jon Jones anymore, but for the fact that the UFC allows him to behave this way and show excessive loyalty towards him. And by the way, this is translated by MMA KO, which I believe is probably a Russian website or whatever. But Volkov is in a tough spot. Okay, he says that he already lost in a dominant fashion to Tom Aspinall in 2022. We've seen that fight. Now, the 2 losses on his record to Gon. Gon is the only fighter other than Volkov that makes sense for the vacant title fight against Tom Aspinall. So either Drago gets a big name for his next appearance or trusts at the UFC to prioritize goodwill over marketability, which is very unlikely. So that's what Volkov has to say about Jon Jones. Now, look, this isn't really a controversial video, at least not as controversial as the video I am about to drop in less than an hour from now. It's all standard. Volkov has the right to feel the way that he does. On top of that, he has the right to be upset. But at the same time, they really don't know what is going on. Nobody really knows what is truly going on, right? So for him to say that, well, this is unfair or this and that, I think there's a plan going on that they may not know. But at the same time, look, right now, if this fight really is happening with him and Tom Aspinall, right? If this is really happening, I'm telling you, this fight is going to blow up because of the demand that people are begging for with this fight. I mean, the begging for this fight is absolutely excessive, right? Look, it has been a couple of weeks now, and this entire conversation has been the entire focal point of MMA for the past couple of days, right? It's just on and on and on and on, right? Oh, Bayonne 5. Oh, okay, so is that by 1-5? I don't understand what that means with Sapatura. Let me know what exactly that means. So, so there's a lot of things that are going on and just a lot at stake that people really don't know about. So, I mean, for sure, we're going to get to the bottom of it one way or another. That is for sure. But right now, it's not one of these things that's going to give you a definitive reason or fact or anything like that. None of these things are going to give you answers right away. And because of the look, let's look at the UFC schedule right now, right? Okay, so we had Gilbert Burns and Morales last week. This week there was no UFC, but there was boxing, obviously. In May 31st, there's going to be Aaron Blanchfield taking on Macy Barber, Matthias Gamrot taking on Ludwig Klein in the co-main event. And then there's UFC 316 on June 7th, fight night with Usman and Buckley. That's coming up in June 14th. That's coming up right around the corner. Hill versus Roundtree. Okay, Jamal Hill versus Roundtree. That's in June 21st. And then there's UFC 317. So we go from June 21st to June 28th, 317. Then you got after that Derek Lewis still at it again, right? July 12th, taking on Taliesin Teixeira. Felix Guzman Martinez asked John Cena versus Butterbean. Well, I would think Butterbean, right? I mean, he is the combat athlete here. John Cena doesn't look like he can throw a punch to save his life. So if you're talking about boxing, obviously Butterbean is a boxer. He would knock him out. Even in MMA, I think he would just, you know, lay on top of Cena, probably put him in a crucifix, similar to what Roy Nelson did to Kimbo, and then just smash him up from there. Felix Guzman Martinez says, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's all good. NJ03 says, who you got between Canelo and Crawford? I got Crawford on that one. So, okay, after the Derek Lewis fight, there's Taliesin Teixeira, July 12th. 318, we got Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. Next week after that, we got Robert Whittaker and Ranier D. Ritter straight back at it again after that card against Bo Nickel. After that, we got Amir Albazi taking on Tatsuro Taira. Okay, that's a pretty good card. That's an August 2nd. August 16th, Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. So we got the whole card filled up, right, from 319. Now, what is UFC 320? Let's see what UFC 320 is. So UFC 320 is UFC's Noche. Ooh, okay, very interesting. We got UFC's Noche in the Guadalajara arena. Okay, so we basically have the entire summer filled out already. Okay, and then Jon Jones, they're not just going to throw him right in there in October. Look, do you guys remember the Khabib and Conor fight, right? They announced that fight right after the summer, or just at least within midsummer or so, right? Just maybe a couple of months before. Yeah, so if this fight is happening, they are going to let you know in months ahead of time. Okay, so Felix Guzman says Canelo will sleep Crawford. Well, Felix Guzman Martinez, okay, I think I know why you would think Canelo would sleep Crawford. Probably for the same reason why, I mean, let's just be honest about it, right? You know, all my black homies think that Crawford is going to sleep Canelo. That's just a reality. But you know what it is? Combat sports is a tribal matter, and we always go for the guy that looks like us, right? That's really the quintessential reality of it. So yeah, man, we got a lot of fights already lined up from the springtime right now all the way to summer. I mean, if you consider this springtime right now and then heading into the summer, I mean, spring just went by so quickly like that. Here we are in the summer. Then next thing you know, it's the fall. And then next thing you know, before you know it, they may just announce Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, or possibly just strip him on the spot right there, which is the potentiality of what could happen in this situation. But on any regard, by the way, guys, a little housekeeping notes. Just letting you know, I have a video out on Jon Jones regarding some racism that he's facing online, right? In particular with MMA Guru fans. I think you guys are going to enjoy that. Let me show you guys the thumbnail for that video right there. There it is right there, 9:15. This video is going to come out. You guys got to go check this out because it is going to be absolutely epic to the max, okay? It's going to be epic to the max, and you guys will absolutely love it. And obviously, that's why when you call yourself the most epic mixed martial arts channel in the history of mankind, you got to throw a little bit of some jazz and pizzazz in that, and a little bit of controversy, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So another thing, another news story that I have out right now on my video section: Islam versus Chael Sonnen, the troll versus the duck, honor culture versus pro wrestling culture. I'm gonna play this a little bit and let you guys let me know what you guys think. It really is trolling Islam Makhachev. The problem is Islam Makhachev is not seeing it that way because, like I've told you before, numerous times over and over again, the Dagestanis, just like Nate Diaz and all these guys are but they are honor culture centric. What does that mean? That means if you're insulting me in any kind of way, I'm gonna punch your face for it. This is not pro wrestling. That's how Chael Sonnen is viewing this whole entire situation. That's not how these guys are viewing it. I know that it is just fun and games. Maybe they are viewing it that way. But let's hypothetically look at the world where they're not viewing it in that particular matter. Look, Chael Sonnen is all about fun and games. Chael Sonnen is all about entertainment and pushing the limits. He's done that in his career. He's done that with Anderson Silva during an era where everybody was all about respect. Everybody was all about trying to make the UFC a lot more edible for people to digest in a world where people had this perception of goons, thugs, and killers and everything in between involved in that particular circle of people that we call MMA. Well, the reality is that there are a lot of bad guys in the world of MMA. I mean, real. Shout out to you, Marty Miller, 65. Good morning to you, my brother. Always popping in here and always supporting. Much love to you and everybody in Ohio, my man. Shout out to you. Bad guys. Like, Chael calls himself the bad guy, but there are real bad guys in MMA. And for different reasons, some honorable, some not. For example, Travis Fulton, a heavyweight who has like 300 fights, the most fights in all of MMA's history. I don't think he's ever made the UFC. Maybe one UFC fight from back in the days, but nothing of any noteworthy event or fights or anything memorable to that extent, right? So the dude went to jail for basically child porn, okay? Let's put it like that. And then he died on the same night that Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor fought each other for the third time. If you guys remember that fight, that's the same night that he died, ironically enough. Okay? those are real bad guys, okay? I mean, you're talking about child corn, okay? That's a bad dude. Lee Abraham Murray stole $90 million. I mean, you know what? That's honorable in the streets, but bad for some people that may see that as an economic sense of terror. So what you guys are listening to right now is an audio from a video that I have, Islam Makhachev versus Chael Sonnen, Troll versus Duck. Go check it out. Also, a video that I have out right now, well, not right now, but in a couple of minutes or maybe in a few minutes or so. It is Jon Jones facing racism in the world of MMA internet. You guys are going to love that. Go check it out. It is on my premiere section that is going to be on at 9:15 to be exact. So please be on the lookout for that. I will, yeah. Terrorism towards the British dollar or pound or economy that they had going on in 2006. But either way, he's a hero to a lot of people in the underground world, right? So that's a bad dude. Conor McGregor is a bad dude outside of MMA. So is Khabib. I could go on. The list goes on and on. But what do all these guys have in common? They all come from an honor culture, except with Travis Fulton. Obviously, there's no honor in that whatsoever. But how about Cain Velasquez? He comes from an honor culture. I mean, somebody came and did what they did to his kid, and then next thing you know the rest. Pop, pop. You know what I mean? Let that shut rock and all that. So on any regard, yeah, that's what you have going on. That is an honor culture. So I don't know, man. Does Chael understand that, or does he have some sort of agreement with Islam and the Team Eagle behind the scenes? I know that he's very close with Khabib. I know that he's very close with Ali Abdelaziz. So for all we know, this could be just nothing more than a play. But I can tell you, if that is what's going on, all right, it's just all fun and banter and this and that. You also got to remember, there was a point where the Dagestani guys were close to jumping DC because DC was talking a whole gang of smack towards Team Eagle. Yeah, Marty Miller says Chael is the ultimate troll. Everything he does is for clicks. That is facts on facts on facts. That's definitely what he does. Now, the question with this video and this audio that I'm playing is, does Islam Makhachev know that? And if he doesn't, well, is he going to feel some kind of way towards Chael Sonnen in a different matter now? While he was grappling one of his guys, I think that he was grappling Islam and he was hurting Islam very bad, or Khabib. And so they were about to gang up on him because he I guess went a little too hard at him, right? So yeah, even with people that they love, right, outside of their circles, you know that they're going to push the issue in any kind of way. But if that is the case, that it is just Chael running a play and Islam and Team Eagle, Ali Abdelaziz and Khabib are behind it, so be it. But understand this, before I want you guys to hit the like and subscribe button, I'm going to end it the way that Chael Sonnen does. Just because you could get away doing that with Chael Sonnen, I mean, just because Chael Sonnen can get away doing that with Islam, it doesn't mean that anybody else can get away with doing that to Islam. You try that with Islam, you may not have a very pleasant response to begin with. Okay? So understand that. It's all just a play. It's all fun and games. But it's not all fun and games for some people. That's right. Had to do the little...
Starting off the list of good... actually, he's going to go into neutral, too, because this guy's fucking... He's wild as shit sometimes, but he's a fucking... I'm telling you, El-Kheer, he's wild as shit. He's going into neutral for different reasons. He's fucking wild. But he's the type of guy that you would want on your side. I feel like this guy just has immense fucking loyalty about him. He's a good fucking dude. He is loyalty over royalty, defined to the fucking max. Now we start off the good cat. Yeah, I like El-Kheer. Fucking so what?
All right. Well, there it is, man. So once again, yeah. Yup. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, ended that video just like Chael Sonnen did. You know how Chael Sonnen just ends the video where he's like, just make sure that you're not the fool behind everything else. And just like that. Oh, by the way, did you guys see Josh Taylor this weekend? Obviously, there were a few people that tapped in here during the weekend. I had covered the Josh Taylor Ikaw fight. Obviously, it was an upset. Here's a little audio that I did with Josh Taylor and what he needs to do at the end of his career right now. Very interesting stuff right here. Check it out. He has faced. Go out with a win, then it's a shame for the type of career that he has. Sure, he had some troubles along the way, but that's what he needs to do. He needs to take on somebody that is of lesser competition, because let's take a look at the competition that he has faced. Okay? Take a look at this list. I've said this in the live stream. When I was doing a live stream for his fight afterwards, I did a reaction to Prince Nassim Hamed. His last 2 fights. One documentary on the Antonio Barrera. I did a reaction to that on that same live stream. Go check it out. Also, I did a live reaction. Well, reaction to a classic fight. Not so much of a classic fight, more like a forgotten fight of his final fight against Manuel Calvo. Literally the last fight and the last time you've seen Prince Nassim in the ring. And probably the last time you've seen him at 100 some odd pounds. The last time that he's ever seen 100 some odd pounds ever. Now he's double the size of that. But on any regard, he went out with a win. That's what Josh Taylor needs to do. He needs to go out with a win. There's no doubt about that. If Josh Taylor doesn't go out with a win, then it's a shame for the type of career that he has. Sure, he had some troubles along the way, but that's what he needs to do. He needs to take on somebody that is of lesser competition, because let's take a look at the competition that he has faced. Okay? Take a look at this list. Teofimo Lopez, Jack Catterall, Ikao Uzaman, and I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, but that last part and that last loss, it's like as if that guy did not even belong in there with him, but he lost to him anyway. Or is it that he is just a shell of his old self? Or is it that the age is really starting to catch up to him right now? How old is Josh Taylor right now? 34. All right, that's understandable. But this is the lower weight classes, right? It's not like Randy Couture in his 40s. It's not like George Foreman in his 40s. It's not like Glover Teixeira in his 40s. And it's certainly not like Bernard Hopkins in his 50s still fighting in the top echelons of his division. This is not the way to do it. Not at that weight class. At that weight class, you don't get better with age. Not at all. But Prince Nassim understood that. He started very young. When he started very young, he ended very early as well, 28 years old. Imagine, what would his 30s have looked like? Maybe he would have gone on to have an insane losing streak, because at that point, he made so much money that nothing ever really mattered at that point. Well, here's the thing with Josh Taylor. This is what he needs to do. Fight one more fight, give a good account of yourself, and get the heck up out of there and build better memories for yourself within that last fight. Let me tell you what I saw in that Prince Nassim fight against Manuel Calvo, right? Obviously, he didn't look pressured the way that he did against Barrera. And I remember listening to commentary. Remember, this is 2002, right? They were saying that, hey, you know what? Maybe you should just fight right here in Britain. There's a lot more comfortability for you here, this and that. Maybe that's true. Maybe there is a comfortability factor. Maybe it is just a stylistic factor. But on any regard, you can't go out like that. Not with 3 losses. All I got to say to Josh Taylor is go out on top, my man. Get you a win, and get you a win that you know that you can win, because, quite frankly, you deserve it. Now, I know that's not what a lot of the hardcore boxing aficionados want to hear, especially if you're the type of guy that wants to see consistent competitive architecture, meaning that if you're going to get run out of the game by a top-level guy in the likes of Teofimo Lopez or in the likes of Jack Catterall, well, then that's just what it is. A lot of guys leave the game with their face down and their butt up, laid out, with the game chewing them in and spitting them out. That's literally the story of every fighter. But like and subscribe for the most epic mixed martial arts channel that you have ever seen, that also covers boxing, because this channel does not want to see Josh Taylor go out like that. MMA needs. If you want to find predictions, news, and everything that deals with MMA, shout outs to Kyrie, Abu El-Kheer MMA, Sacramento, California, represent.
That's right, Kyrie. I appreciate you, my nigga. You came in here, you was talking that shit. That's right, bro. Much love, fool. I appreciate you for always stepping in, bro. Be safe out there. Man, my nigga Kyrie. My man Kyrie came through. He started talking that shit. Hey,
here's the thing.
Here's the thing. That nigga
will
whoop your fucking ass. You would think that nigga's all squared up and all that type of shit? Nigga come through and beat your fucking ass. Like, man, fuck you up. You would never see it coming. So for those of y'all...
All right. So, guys, that's it. Right there. That was my man, Rich Trapper. For those of you that don't know Rich Trapper, he has his own podcast. It's called the Rich Trapper Network. He was a friend of the late Nipsey Hussle, right? Grew up with him in the same neighborhood down in LA. Has a pretty good podcast going on. Has quite a big name in the California gangster space of YouTube, so to say. So go check him out as one of my, loyal supporters as well in the YouTube game. So, okay, Marty Miller says, okay, we read that. Fresh Melon Juice, Hezbollah submitted Jon Jones. He'll be fighting Tom Aspinall for the vacant belt because the fight with Jon wasn't official. Oh, yeah, man. That was quite wholesome seeing Hezbollah out in Thailand hanging out with those guys, man. That was quite an interesting, that was quite an interesting interaction they had going on. So, all right, just wanted to let you guys know a little housekeeping notes, right? I have a video that is going to premiere in exactly 20 minutes from now. Techie Gamers, I'm back. My man, how are you, man? We got the whole gang in here. We got Techie Gamers. We got Fresh Melon Juice. We got Marty Miller. We got Felix Guzman. We got NJ03. And then we got a whole new other people here as well. Man, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button because, guys, I got an epic video that is coming out right after this live stream. As soon as this video starts to premiere, this is the video that I'm going to play. I'm going to premiere right here. Look at this. Jon Jones faces racism by MMA guru fans and ducking accusations of a racial element behind it. So, look, I know a lot of people, they don't like to talk about race. Specifically, look at Turkey El-Sheikh, right? He was in a WWE pregame show, and he said something to the effect, brother, I don't like to talk about race or anything like that, but I think in order for heavyweight boxing to be very big, you must need a black American champion. You know what I mean? Imagine if Eddie Hearn was to say something like that. Can you imagine if Bob Arum was to say something like that? I mean, Bob Arum is a little bit crazy. He will say things like that. But Turkey El-Sheikh, yeah, bro, that accent, you like that? I mean, look, that's what I said, right? I can do Arab accents. I can do Dagestani accents. Obviously, I'm very proficient at doing white accents, right? But there's some accents that I just can't do. Like, I'm not very good at doing Indian accents, Chinese, or what other accents am I not good at? The Dutch accent is very hard to emulate. Look, maybe if you can do like what do you call it? An Alistair Overeem accent. Guys, I think pro wrestling is gay. It's absolutely gay. Try the Irish accent again. Okay. Oh man. The Irish accent is so... Okay, let me do a John Kavanaugh accent. Okay, well, Conor McGregor, he must stop fighting at some point because it's going to be very... I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying, man. I'm not very good at Irish accents. Although the Conor McGregor, accent is probably very easy to do. You know what I mean? Like, because Conor has a very distinct voice. He's like, get this thing off my telly, but again, guys, I'm not MMA guru. MMA guru is, he's way better than accents than I am, especially when doing English accents and Irish accents and accents that are within his proximity. He's very proficient at that, right? All I know how to do is white American accents, Arabs, and that's probably it. And maybe, you know, maybe African Americans, and you know, and yeah, and that's it. You know what I mean? British, maybe some British accents, you know. But yeah, I'd have to be in the right mood to do it. But yeah, on any regard, man. Yeah, great times that it's up ahead in the UFC, right? We got great times ahead. And I think that the fact that the summer and all of that, try Bisping. Okay, try Bisping. How do you do Bisping? He's like, oh, fuck. Man, you know, it's hard to do Bisping too, man. You know, because he has a little bit of a twang in his accent now, you know, so it's like as if he no longer sounds British. I mean, you know, Michael Bisping kind of sounds, you know, like a Californian now. You know what? Let me see if there's a video out there, the evolution of Michael Bisping's accents. The evolution of Bisping's accents. Let's see if they have a video like that. They should have a video like this somewhere. Okay, fans can't handle Bisping's fake accent. Okay, let's hear it. Let's watch this.
I want to ask you about commentating, man. You won the best.
Well, thank you very much.
Did you have to go to school for that or some shit?
No, but I started off, you know, when the UFC signed with Fox, we started having some of the fighters doing the pre-fight show and the post-fight show. And I would sit at home and see like the other fighters doing it and talk shit. They're like, oh, these guys are terrible. Eventually, I got my shot to do it, but it's a lot different when you're sitting in a big studio and there's directors and all the rest of it, and they're like talking, you're like, So I didn't know how hard it was, but I did that for about 7 years because at first they couldn't understand the word I said. Then when I'm commentating or whatever, I kind of change my voice a little bit. I overpronounce my words and stuff. That's why a lot of English people give me shit for having an American accent.
Yeah,
I don't have an American accent, but people need to understand me.
Do you?
All right, so there it is, right? He just needs to be understood. Look, so I think, so people ask me, right, how do I develop my accent, right? Here's the thing. Rebecca! James Dillon, yeah. He always yells, Rebecca! You get me my coffee! You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what he does. Fresh Melon Juice says, I asked Bisping if he was 20, how much money would he need to destroy his neck, knees, hip, shoulders, and remove an eye? Bisping never replied. Yeah, man, I can see why he never replied with that one. Techie Gamer says, my fat, okay. Bold Brash, shout out to you, Bold Brash. There's a new commenter in the comment section. Shout outs to Bold Brash. Give everybody a warm welcome to Bold and Brash, but more importantly, give him a bold and brash welcome as it relates to his name. There's a YouTuber, he says, who's guys by Bedtime MMA, who does accents perfectly, bro. Oh yeah, I heard of Bedtime MMA. Shout outs to Bedtime MMA. Marty Miller says, you're right. It has changed over the years. Bisping is actually decent at impressions. And then there's Techie Gamers again going, Rebecca! You know what? No, I don't want to keep going with
believe.
All right, let's hear. Let's hear. Look at this.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Bullshit! It's bullshit! It's bullshit! It's a lie from Satan! It's a lie from Satan, brother! We are the apex predators! We are made in the image of God! Where is there a half monkey, half man? There is no half man, half monkey. There never will be. We have different DNA than fucking monkeys, brother.
Actually, if you look at a gorilla, they're about 97% the same DNA as a human, or something very similar to that.
And they also throw shit and eat shit. We are not monkeys, brother. We are not monkeys.
I know.
I used to live the life. Do you believe that we?
Oh man, yeah, that was some classic banter right there. All right, now we got 9 people in here. I wanted to tell you guys about the video that I have coming out right now. This is going to be coming out in 13 minutes from now. So we got a 13-minute countdown going on for Jon Jones Faces Racism by MMA Guru fans, ducking accusations and racial elements. You guys are going to love that video. I'm telling you, if you guys are into controversies, into things that deal with racial politics, I think you guys are going to enjoy that video. Give it a watch. The Techie Gamer says, get my effing coffee. Get my effing coffee. James Dillon says, send Bryce Mitchell to the ice wall 2 to 3 years and forget. Oh, man. Why the ice wall? Please explain to me what that reference means. That's very interesting. Why specifically the ice wall? Oh, man. But I got to tell you what, man. As a Muslim, and obviously Bryce Mitchell as a Christian, I'm going to have to agree with him on that, right? Obviously, I don't believe that we evolved from monkeys in any kind of way, and I do agree with him that it is a satanic agenda in order for us to believe that. Marty Miller says, did you see O'Malley say he's 70% better than the last metal fight, or the last fight? You mean he better be? He better be it. He has any chances? Oh, yeah, man. You know what? Here's the thing. It was one of those Johnny-come-lately type of performances, right? At the end of the, I believe, at the end of the 5th round, he looked really strong, was hurting Marab, but it was a little too late. Marty Miller says Bryce thinks the earth is flat, and there's an ice wall holding the. Oh, okay, that's what the reference says. Okay, and then Marab fight. Marty Miller has a little auto correction to that. Okay, so. Yeah, man. This fight is going to be very interesting. So, all right, man. Much love to you as well, my man. You know, Full Auto. Much love to you as well. Thank you for all the love out there and all the support. So, if you show love to the page, just remember, guys, I got a video coming out right now in 9:15 exactly West Coast time. So that's almost 10 minutes from now, right? Jon Jones faces racism by MMA guru fans. All right. All right. So obviously there's a racial element behind that. I suggest you guys don't watch that with your kid. Well, actually, you can watch anything with your kids. I'm pretty good with not cursing. The only time that I ever curse on my channel is if I'm playing an audio with somebody else cursing. So thoughts on Jon frolicking with Russians in Thailand? Well, what do you mean by frolicking, right? Do you mean hanging out, or do you mean some sort of nefarious gay innuendo of some sort, right? But let me know. Oh, man. Paradox, the Chad raid. Is that right? Okay. Is Paradox the Chad giving me a raid? All right, man. Shout out to Paradox the Chad. Huh? He's sending some people this way, huh? So, all right, that's what's up, man. Hit the like and subscribe button to everybody that's coming here from, oh, wow. Wow, Ali, Paradox, the Chad raid, Western Mass Climber, Paradox raid. All right, I'm getting raided by Paradox the Chad, man. Shout out to Paradox the Chad. Hit the like button and subscribe button. Guys, I got a real crazy video that is coming out in a couple of minutes, okay? I need you guys to check out Jon Jones faces racism by MMA guru fans and ducking accusations. Humongous raid. MMA, oh, there it is, MMA Paradox. Shout out to MMA Paradox right there, my man. Or I don't know if that's the same as Paradox to Chad, but yeah, in any regard, man, shout out to anybody that is coming here from Paradox, the Chad, or MMA Paradox. But in any ways, yeah, we got some serious Paradox going on here. I rebranded. Yes, I am the Chad. Oh, okay, so that is you. Okay, my man. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we got Paradox the Chad up in here. That's what I'm talking about. All right, shout outs to Aomi. Okay, the idiot keeps changing his name. Hey, you know what? I guess, you know, there is there's some merit to, you know, I guess changing your name and all that, right? Let's go, Kyrie. Yeah, hey, MMA Paradox, check this out. I got a crazy video that's coming out in a couple of minutes, right? Jon Jones faces racism by MMA guru fans ducking accusations, and also I talk about some racial elements that sort of go into the world of MMA. I think you guys are really going to appreciate it. I think there's you know, because look, understand this, right? You know, MMA Joey, they look at MMA Joey as somebody that is somewhat of a left-wing liberal, right? They look at Luke Thomas as that way. They look at Jesse on Fire, by the way, a guy who has came in here and has given me some super chats before, so shout outs to him. But yeah, man, there's all these people that have political identities, right? Me, not specifically. I don't really have a Democrat or a Republican type of ethos about me. I'm obviously more of, well, I'm a Muslim, so make of that as you will. You can call that whatever you want to call it. You can call that an Islamist. You can call that, Muslim. You can call that a Sunni. On any regard, yeah, that's what I have going on in terms of politics. So I guess you could say that I'm sort of in the neutral at that. But rest assured, you guys are gonna love that video with Jon Jones, and it is coming up in just a few minutes from now. So yeah, man, shout outs to everybody. Fresh Melon Juice says, part 2, Jon Jones facing gayism. You know what? That video is sort of delving into that particular topic as well, right? I do address where MMA Guru does call him that. And again, just so you guys know, this is not a diss to MMA Guru in any kind of way. Even though there are things that we don't agree on politically, the one thing that I do appreciate about MMA Guru is that he does give guys like us an opportunity to be able to shine in the world of MMA YouTube. And then on top of that, he's a guy that's never fought before, never really trained other than when he went down in Drickus' gym in South Africa. But yet he's the biggest MMA streamer ever. You know, and here I am. You know, I've had a few fights. I've had a few Muay Thai fights. I've had an MMA fight. I've grown up wrestling. And, you know, and then here's this guy who's in England in his mom's basement. And he's, am I supposed to subscribe? Cheddarhead, shout out to Cheddarhead, please. That would be very helpful, my man. You know, that would be very helpful for the visibility of the show, and also to help me become the most epic mixed martial arts channel in the history of mankind, because I only want to drop nothing but epic content for you guys to drink your coffee with, do whatever with, eat bagel with, maybe spend time with your family, or maybe you're on long trips and you want to listen to something with a long form. I got all of that. I got all of the, videos that we got going on. Man, Chad the Paradox, thank you so much for all this raid that you had given me, my man. You know, definitely when I reach to a certain level, that's definitely what I'm going to do is help the smaller streamers coming up, because that's just naturally what you do, right? Okay, MMA Paradox says, yes, Cheddarhead. Marty Miller says, there's an interview where Jon is asked if he's a bad guy trying to be good or a good guy that's bad sometimes. He said that the bad guy's trying to be good. Wow, let me tell you something, no pun intended in that, Marty Miller. There's a lot of paradox that is going on with that. Cheddarhead says, all right, I gained some respect for him after that. Okay. Fresh Melon Juice says, if MMA Guru shaves his mustache, will the Islamic community welcome him? Of course, man. Of course. Let me tell you, one of the... Jon is a Christian, so that's a natural take. So I'll say this, right? If MMA Guru was to become a Muslim, we would absolutely welcome him. Not only that, it would be very big for our community. If MMA Guru was to become a Muslim, it would be very big for our community. It really would, because obviously he has a certain influence about him. We got MMA fighters that are Muslim that are dominating, and then we got an MMA streamer who's the #1 MMA streamer in the world who's Muslim. So that would absolutely help. Hey, if MMA Guru doesn't become Muslim, well, you know what? I'm already Muslim, so why not become the biggest Muslim MMA streamer there is? Plus, how many MMA streamers you know has a Dagestani beard, lives in California, on top of that has an American accent, I sound like I'm from the Ivy League, and then I hang out with nothing but gangsters? You will never meet a person like me ever. I mean, I'm sure there is, but it's very few, far in between. I have a very unique upbringing, lifestyle, and everything in between, so that's something that I would love to offer to the world. What about Ariel Hawani, Fresh Melon Juice? What about him? What is the reference to Ariel Hawani? Just out of curiosity on that one. Ariel Hawani. Yeah, man. Shout out to Chad the Paradox on that one, man, for sending love that way. You know, I love Middle East podcaster who lives in the U.S. and speaks great English. Oh, okay. Middle East podcaster who lives in the U.S. Ariel Hawani's Canadian, so okay, he does live in the U.S. Okay, we can say that. Yeah. Middle Eastern, okay, but I guess he's Middle Eastern on the Jewish side, Middle Eastern on the Muslim side. But yeah, you know, there's not too many Muslim MMA streamers, right? I don't know, man. You know, at least not. He's a half Egyptian. He's full Egyptian, Ariel Helwani, unless of course maybe he has a half European mom or something like that. But yeah, he is Egyptian for sure. You know, he is the nephew of what's that guy's name? God Saad, right? That I believe he's a scientist from Montreal. He's always in Joe Rogan's podcast. Sawani says Jewish Egyptian God Saad. Yeah, God Saad is his uncle, I believe. So if you guys have ever seen him before, yeah, that is the relative of Ariel Helwani. So guys, listen, we got about 2 minutes left before the premiere of this video right here. This is one of the most explosive videos of the year in the MMA space. Please check it out. We got one person waiting here. Go to that right now because this video is about to start. Maybe I'll just keep live streaming while this is going on. But yeah, please have your other screen playing on that one as well. What's your opinion on Joe Rogan? I've had enough of him personally. Okay, you know what? Marty, I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Because I'm going to tell you, man, 10 years ago, Joe Rogan was underground. It felt, look, this is what Joe Rogan felt like 10 years ago, okay? Because I used to listen to him religiously 10 years ago, like while I was at work or while I was at school. I would have, you know, him in my ear, you know, just doing random whatever. It would get me through my day, right? And I would usually watch his stuff live. Like if there was Joe Rogan on, I would watch him on a live and then that's it. A live stream, man. Postponed the Jon Jones video. Well, I'm still going to you know, obviously let it premiere, but I'll keep the live stream going as well. You know, but yeah, we'll definitely you know, react to it as we're watching. But yeah, please, if you guys can put on your other screen that video, because that video is about to start in exactly 1 minute, right? It is called Jon Jones Faces Racism by MMA Guru Fans and Ducking Accusations and a Racial Element Behind It. Okay, so Joe Rogan, he felt very underground, very, how do I say this? Like carefree, right? And then after a while, he got popular, and I think Joe Rogan is now hitting the mainstream stratosphere, and even more so now that Trump is, oh, there it is. There it is right now. We got the premiere going. So let me lower this down real quick while we wait for the premiere. Guys, the premiere is about to start. I put about 5 minutes in between that. So realistically, this video is going to start at 9:20. So we got about 5 minutes to talk. So yeah, look, Joe Rogan is a lot more mainstream now, right? His ideas never really changed, but what changed was the country. Now, obviously, Trump became the president, and with him becoming the president, he changed the culture altogether. And as such, changing that culture, what you get is an element of, you know, of something different. You get something different now in the culture of MMA, in the culture of America, period. And now all these things that seem rogue, that seem iconoclastic in a part of Joe Rogan, now it seems a lot more mainstream and acceptable, right? Also, Joe Rogan, I mean, look, a lot of people are complaining that he's becoming a bit of a casual, right? And the reason why is because he's not up on MMA the way that we are, okay? Like, not the way that MMA Guru is, not the way that Lucas Tracy MMA is, not the way that MMA Joey is, not the way that I am, right? Cheddarhead says Jon Jones is a duck. Well, I do talk about that in that video as well, so please check it out because there are some interesting facts that I do drop on that video. Also, check out my video that I did with Nate Diaz getting into a street fight in Thailand. I got some crazy, you know, footages in there. I show footages of, like, you know, Thai news of people getting into street fights, the history of Nate Diaz getting into street fights. Check out that video as well. Man, I've dropped a few interesting videos as of late because, you know, I guess, you know, I've been doing more live streams than I have been doing videos. But then now I just decided to drop a few videos while doing some live streams So, you know, but I haven't been doing a lot of shorts, and I think the reason why is because I felt like as if shorts somehow really shorten your views in your videos. So, you know, I stopped doing them altogether. Fresh Melon Juice says, wait. Swanee says, Rogan is a UFC employee. John should be fighting Tom. Rogan not being more vocal as expected. Or maybe Rogan knows something that perhaps we may not know. Maybe that could be the reason. Fresh Melon Juice says, Rogan and Dana are older men, and they value other things. It's time for them to retire from the UFC also. Rogan's comedy is not that good at all. Yeah, I may have to agree with you on that, right? It's probably one of those situations where Rogan is, you know, only doing comedy because he's known in the fight world, right? Kind of like Brendan Schaub. Like, look, do any of us really think that Brandon Schaub is funny? I mean, you know, he does have great MMA takes. He does have a great MMA show, but he's not a professional comedian the way that Dave Chappelle is. We just watch him for the brotherhood of the fact that, hey, he's one of us. He's a fighter. He's part of the MMA circle. So that's the only reason why we support him in that light. So Marty Miller says, completely agree on your Joe Rogan take. I love when Guru makes fun of his takes. Yeah, he definitely goes after Joe Rogan because, you know, Joe Rogan in the eyes of many hardcores is becoming a bit of a casual. So Rogan's comedy is terrible, Marty Miller says. Just him on stage yelling the same stuff he says on his podcast, LOL. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I don't think Rogan... See, here's the thing, right? Rogan knows he's not the best comedian. He's an okay comedian. He's kind of okay with being mediocre, right? Okay, take Jim Miller, for example, right? We know that Jim Miller is never going to win a title, right? Can we agree to that? Jim Miller is never going to win a title, but he's okay with being a prelim guy. He's okay with, you know, occasionally getting a main card fight. But other than that, yeah, man, you know, he's okay with being where he's at. Joe Rogan is sort of the same. He's okay with the status that he's at. All right, guys, here's the premiere right now. It's going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to continue to stream, though, you know, while this is going on. But, yeah, head over there and watch this video as well, guys, because this has some explosive situations here. Bro, what the F? Brandon has been wrong almost every prediction he's ever made. What good takes? Okay, well, that's an opinion. Fresh Melon Juice says, yeah, but Rogan talks about himself as an assassin in comedy.
That's right, bro. Much love, bro. I appreciate you throwing that in, bro. Be safe out there. Man, my nigga's
Right, Fresh. He's delusional. Yeah, that's the thing.
Here's the thing. That nigga whoop your fucking ass. You would think that nigga's all squared up and all that type of shit? Niggas come through and beat your fucking ass. Like, man, fuck you up. You would never see it coming. So for those of y'all...
I gotta tell you, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about race, and I get it, because sometimes it's unwarranted, and then sometimes there is. Now, with Jon Jones, I think there's a little bit of anger towards him because of the things that he's done in the past. But also, you gotta understand. All right, guys, go check that video out right now. It's out right now. I got a few visuals in that. Also, the Nate Diaz one, check that out as well. I got a few visuals in that. So, yeah, man, go check out that video as we are doing this live stream as well. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a provable fact. Yeah, the thing is, you know, it seems that Joe Rogan seems to have different priorities in his life right now. I think you guys can agree to that, right? There's different elements of his life where he is doing different things, where he's sort of into different subject matters at hand, different interests and what have you. So I don't think Joe Rogan is there doing homework on these fighters in any kind of way. Marty Miller says, yeah, Schaub always picks fights with wrong, and most of his takes are just regurgitated from other MMA pods. Man, you know what? I've heard that before. I've heard that before. I don't know if there's any. I mean, you know, Daniel Cormier once paid somebody to do homework for him when it came to knowing the fighters, right? Like, you know, fighter stats and all this other stuff. Like, he literally went and did something like that. It's so weird, right? Like, but I get it, right? You know, he has different priorities. He's also a wrestling coach. He also has to do wrestling commentating. I mean, it's just an absolutely heavy situation. Let me show you a little bit of some elements of this new video that I have out right now. Well, what is the overall demographics of mixed martial arts? Would you say that it's majority white? I would say that it is, primarily because boxing has taken a hold of the African-American community and also other black communities in other Western countries, such as the UK, France, but mostly. So go on my video section right now. That is what you will be expecting in that video. Very explosive video about Jon Jones. Obviously, references to MMA Guru as well. You guys are going to love that video, just like... oh, hold on. Okay, yeah, and you guys are going to enjoy that video. Go check it out. But we'll keep the live stream going. And okay, let's bring up this topic with Evloev. What do you guys think about fighting Aaron Pico and Evloev? Man, that right there tells you that the UFC doesn't F around when it comes to competition. Bro, you're coming in there and you're fighting Evloev in your first fight? You know what I mean? And Aaron Pico, listen, man. Aaron Pico is a great fighter, but we've seen him lose plenty of times. He's had a few upsets. Man. This is not a good fight for him. I don't think it's a good fight for him at all, man. I don't like the fight for him at all. Yeah, Suwani says discussing Mobzawar should be fighting Volk. That's another thing too, right? And then here's another thing. Why are they missing out on the beef between Lopez and Yair Rodriguez? There's genuine beef going on there, and you're not going to do anything about that? You know what I'm saying? Like the UFC, I swear to you, man, I think sometimes WAC 100 should, you know, like be the president of the UFC, even though he has no experience in the mixed martial arts world. And the reason why I say WAC 100 should be the president of the UFC is because if there is beef going on, he will sign fights where there is beef going on. What about Masvidal and Leon Edwards? They missed out on that beef, right? What else was a beef that people never really got to see in the cage? Mayhem Miller versus Nick or Nate Diaz. That never happened, right? Although I also talk about Mayhem Miller as well on my Nate Diaz video. So, man, they missed out on that. And then they, you know what? Look, man. The UFC Mexico card, I'm sorry, it's a DEI hire. Okay? Like, that's really what it is. That is a DEI hire to the max. Do you agree with that? The only reason why Yair Rodriguez is fighting for that title is because he's Mexican and they have to do it in a Mexican card. But the problem is they don't have enough Mexican stars because Mexican MMA is very underdeveloped. And by the way, you cannot claim anything to be Mexican MMA if it has anything to do with an Olympic gold medalist with the likes of Henry Cejudo, or somebody who grew up in the United States and Northern California with the likes of Nick and Nate Diaz. You cannot claim them as Mexican. And no, you cannot claim Aaron Pico as Mexican. These guys are American. They are Americanos, okay? They may not be gringos, but they are Americanos, okay? And you cannot claim them. And I'm sorry, but you should not be having a card like that. And I agree with MMA Guru. You know what he said? He said, that is your reward if you have enough talent in your part of the world. If you got enough talent, your reward is, hey, you know what? We're going to put on a show in your part of the world, and that's that. The Dagestanis, the Muslims, and the Arabs have earned it because they have enough people to build the cards around in their region. but not Mexico. They're very underdeveloped. Jon Jones is Mexican. Fresh Melon Juice says, how dare you? Swanee says, nah, hard disagree. Yair fighting Volk again because they're trying to block Mozart. Yeah, that's also true. Swanee says, Pico is going to be to what we thought Bo Nickel would become. Is going to be what we thought Bo Nickel would become. Okay, that's an interesting take. They're trying to feed Mozart a young killer so he doesn't get a title shot. Okay. So, Sawani, you are suggesting that Pico can actually win? I mean, you know, it is fighting. I can't disagree with you on that. Jon Jones lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Oh, Fresh Melon Juice, you and your wordplay. Of course he's Mexican. He's New Mexican. He's New Mexican, if you think about it. Who? No Nickel going to get the next now? He's been exposed. What are you trying to say, Marty Miller? Are you saying that Pico is going to be the next Bo Nickel who's going to get exposed? Is that what you mean? Let me know what you mean in that clarity right there. Okay, this is, he could. I think he won't. I hope he won't. Okay, this is what my video right here that's being premiered right now. Fighting is in our DNA. We all get it, and we all love badasses that look like us. Okay, so when you look at Tom Aspinall, does he look like the majority of the fan base that sort of encompasses MMA? I would say so. In fact, I'll tell you what, this is a reason why I wanted to add a different element into my MMA content. Obviously, I wanted to add a little bit of a urban hip-hop flavor to it, a little bit different than that of MMA Guru, a little bit different than that of Lucas MMA Tracy, all these guys, right, that quite frankly have... So yeah, check that out, guys, on my video section that is playing right now. Okay, so to answer your question, Marty Miller, who do I think Bo Nickel will fight next? Now, this is going to sound very biased because I've trained with this guy. I've also fought in the same card as this guy, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. I really would love to see Anthony Fluffy Hernandez finally put an end to Bo Nickel. Now, can you imagine? Okay, D. Ritter exposed him, fraud checked him, but it will be Anthony Hernandez that ultimately ends him in the same similar fashion that Uriah Hall ended the career of Anderson Silva in the UFC. So Swanee says, but the gym stories about Pico are effing crazy. The total opposite of Bo. Bo's own coaches will tell you he needs work. Pico is actually for real. Swanee, that's a very good point. Although there are elements of people that are gym heroes, right? But how much of that translates into the cage is, you know, another story. Fresh Melon Juice says, Bo Nickel should move to Thailand 2 years and forget. Wow, Thailand. That's a good point. That's a good point. Can you imagine Bo Nickel goes to Thailand, you know, has like a Thai trainer similar to like Van Damme in Bloodsport. I'm sorry, not Bloodsport, in Kickboxer. And then he just does nothing but like, you know, throw kicks. You know, like the trainer splits his leg up, you know, to try to get his kicks higher and this and that. Yeah, man, I would love to see that. Love that take. Bo is delusional, still acting cocky after the loss. Well, you know what? In Bo's defense, I'm going to say this, right? In Bo's defense, I'm going to say that this is what you have to be to become a high-level athlete. Now, look, a lot of us may not like it because we want our athletes to be humble. We don't want our athletes to, you know, speak good or to, you know, be nice to everybody and this and that. I completely understand that. But you know what? There's a certain element of beast inside of a dangerous fighter that I think we really need to take into consideration, especially if they're going to go in there and fight some of the most dangerous people in the world. They really have to believe themselves. So sometimes delusionality is good when you are at a certain level, but sometimes delusionality becomes very bad when you are badly damaged and at the end wits of your career. Swanee says he did well in Bellator and PFL. Pico, I mean, okay, yeah. Fresh Melon Juice says, yeah, Dance drunk in a bar like Van Damme. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Where he was, dancing in the bar or whatever, and the next thing you know, a group of these Thai dudes start jumping him because his trainer, like, basically incited him because of like some yo mama jokes, just to see how his training, has progressed. You know what I mean? Gets him in a bar fight, man. That is so 80s, right? Like, I don't know what trainer, MMA trainer, boxing trainer, or a head trainer of any kind, head coach, would make you fight a bunch of dudes at a bar just to prove a point. It's crazy. But Marty Miller says, I hear what you're saying, and he did have success early for sure. Marty Miller says, but saying he would run through Khamzat and Whitaker is crazy. Yeah, you know what? As somebody who is a Khamzat supporter, I don't blame him for saying that. Now, is he right? Now, you and me, okay, between you and me, and when we talk about it, we're like, hey, listen, you really think this guy could beat this guy? You know what I mean? And our answer is no. Heck no, he can't beat this guy. But I tell you what, if you're Bo's manager, if you're Bo's PR agent or his sports agent, I'm sorry, if you're Khamzat's agent and PR agent and sports agent, you want Bo Nickel to feel that way, especially if you're going into a fight with him. As a Khamzat supporter and as somebody that knows his team, knows the guys that are in his team, I've had a few all-star MMA guys come in here in the chat one time. I believe one of his teammates came in here. He's a 135 fighter fighting for the bantamweight title in Sweden, right? Coming up in June 28th, same day as UFC 317. He, what do you call it? You want these guys to feel like they can beat your guy because you want them to have the best case scenario when it comes to fight promotion. So yeah, with that said, Fresh Melon Juice says, I think he said he could beat Khamzat in wrestling, not MMA. Yeah. He may not be wrong. He may not be wrong. I mean, look, Khamzat never claimed that he was, a wrestler. I mean, he wrestles good, but, yeah, he never claimed to be a wrestler, so that's a possibility. He's an MMA fighter. Anything can be explained, says, that's an interesting screen name. Shout out to you, my man. Anything can be explained. Anything can be explained, says, is Khamzat Dricka's fight officially announced? Oh, yeah, it is. It is, my man. Hey, Kyrie, thoughts on Clown Show? I'm not really a big fan of clowns or anything like that, but yeah, let me know what you think. Hetero Catboy. Very interesting name there. Marty Miller says, fair point. Marty Miller says, yes, anything they are fighting. Swanee says, Pico spent God knows how long in Dagestan with Olympic-level wrestlers here. Pico's boxing was developed by his mom. Okay, just interesting. Just Bo Pico's boxing was trained by Benavidez. Really? Pico's boxing was trained by Benavidez, as in David Benavidez. The boxer Canelo ducked. Correct. I got a video out on David Benavidez versus Canelo. It's called The Psychological Breakdown of Canelo and Benavidez. You guys will absolutely love that. Speaking of boxing, there's this heavyweight right now in the scene named Moses Otama. Okay, man. He had a devastating knockout in the second round this weekend in the Josh Taylor fight. By the way, shout out to G-Man Boxing. I'm going to react to his video right now. This Irish guy that does boxing videos, shout out to him. I think he's one of the best boxing channels out right now. So check him out while we react to this video of Moises Otama and him saying that he is a problem and a dangerous man at that. So let's listen in on this one. Shout out to G-Man Boxing right here. So,
and mansions.
For those that are wondering, this is how you reach this page right here. This is G-Man Boxing. So,
All right, so Moses Otama knocks out Mike Balogan in 2 rounds. You'll see on screen there a couple of the knockdowns. It was a brilliant performance by young Moses Otama. But I also want to give a big shout out to Mike Balogan because he really...
Wow, look at that.
He was clearly outclassed in there. It was apparent to see. But the fighting spirit, I mean, even the final knockdown, which was a heavy knockdown, you can see when the referee waves it off that he's trying to get up, and he's actually annoyed. You can see it in the face when he's trying to get up. He's actually annoyed at the referee for stopping the fight, because he had fight in him. He really did. He was aggressive. He was punching with Moses' helmet. Honestly, the second knockdown of the fight, but the first knockdown of the second round.
That one.
I'm amazed.
That one right there. That shot right there. I mean, it reminded me of Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor. Let me play that one again. Let me play that one again right here. Look at this. This is devastating right here. Oh, snap. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me rewind that back. This is, as I was saying, let me show you his knockout right here. Okay, sorry about that.
He was aggressive. He was punching with Moses' helmet. Honestly, the second knockdown of the fight, but the first knockdown of the second round.
Right there. So what that reminded me of Conor McGregor and Jose Aldo, the way that he came in and just bang, just hit him like that, you know? So
amazed he got up from it, and the fact was he got up from it and then he turned aggressor. So big up to him. Like, he gave it a go. He gave it a go, which is all you can really ask from an opponent, to be honest with you, especially someone who's in there with a precocious talent like a Thomas. Sometimes you do kind of look and think, oh my God, are they going to just, you know, are they looking to try and bring him around to just, you know, say...
So a significant thing about this guy, right? He's trying to beat Mike Tyson's record as the youngest heavyweight champion ever. Right now, they just ranked him #1 in the WBO, I believe at 19 years old. He's 19 years old, is already ranked #1 in the WBO. And you know what? After Usyk and Dubois, he's got a chance to figure out whether he wants to be heavyweight champion of the world or not. But I don't know, man. I don't know if he'll beat Mike Tyson's record. It may be a little too late, but he'll be close to it. He missed by a month. Is that right? Okay, so he missed by a month. Okay, he still has a chance, and even if he wins it by 2026, it's still very impressive nonetheless, right? But, yeah, you know, being able to beat that record, I mean, it's impressive, but you know what? Coming close to it is not bad at all. He's definitely next up for sure. Because you know what? This is one of these situations where even if he loses, he can still end up winning. So back to G-Man boxing right here.
I've gone this many rounds or just trying to survive. No, this guy was trying to win. This guy was trying to win, and credit to him. Let's talk about Thomas' performance. It's been frustrating given the fact that his last fight was back in December on the undercard of Fury USA 2 against MC McKeon. Now, given the fact...
Now, that's a good card to be in you know, in a Usyk or a Fury card. That's definitely a good card to be in to get the exposure that he needed. I think he was also... I don't think he... No. He wasn't in the Eubank undercard at all. But, yeah, he's in some good cards, and I think that's really important for him to be in.
That he's not going to break Mike Tyson's record. I don't mind him bringing the levels down. And on paper, this was a step down from the McKeans of the world, but I wouldn't say it's a crazy step down or anything like that. You know, it's not like he's fighting, you know, an absolute, you know, bin man from somewhere. It was more losses than wins, stuff like that. It's not that bad. But I kind of thought, all right, what they're going to probably do now that he can't break that record, they're going to put the brakes on him a little bit. And I think this is the kind of opponent at this stage of his career, you're like, all right, let's move on a little bit.
So what G-Man is saying is, now that he missed by a month, just like what NJ here had said, now they're going to try to slow down his competition a little bit as they were trying to beat the record. Now, is that the right thing to do? Maybe it is for a 19-year-old, but if he wants to move up in competition, right, WBO #1 ranked, right? Who is the interim champion at WBO right now? That is Joseph Parker. Okay, now does he want to fight Joseph Parker? Or does he just want to go straight to the top and try it? Look, even if he loses to Usyk or Dubois or Fury or whoever the undisputed champion is, guess what? Moises Otama can still win the title at some point. Fresh Melon Juice says, did you read about the petition to strip Jon Jones? Oh, yeah. I talk about that in the, well, I did talk about that early in the live stream earlier. But yeah, I did. For the undisputed title, Jon Jones compared it to a pictogram because so few had, oh, wow. Oh, wow. He said he compared it to a pictogram. That's crazy, man. That's crazy work.
From here now is just, we can move on from this, but we don't need to be, rushing it. And I think that's what they were saying on commentary, Fighting for a world title maybe next year is perfectly reasonable. This year is a big...
Okay, so just as I suspected, yeah, they were looking to get him in by 2026. So, yeah, missed by a month, so, there's no need to rush as they tried to do originally.
Too soon, in my opinion, and I don't think he needs to be honest with you, quite frankly. Martin Bakoli was obviously there ringside. He was interviewed as well, and, Martin Bakoli he's not impressed in his last two performances. Joseph Parker one, okay, we can maybe kind of draw a line in that one, because that was a farce. But he certainly didn't impress against F.A. Jagba, but he has impressed in previous fights, especially against Jared Anderson. But I look at Bakoli and I see, stylistically it's an interesting matchup, because Atelma has phenomenal balance and great movement. He's very fast for a heavyweight, very fast, not just in terms of hand speed, but if you look at his feet, especially in this fight, the foot speed was really, really good from Atelma, and he's getting heavier. He's getting heavier, but his hand and foot speed is not being affected. And if anything, his punching power is increasing a little bit as well. So it's all...
So, in other words, he's increasing by power, and not only that, he's getting better with his foot speed as well. While he's, that's what happens when you're young, fresh at 19 years old. You are able to develop that quickly.
Oh, looking good for Atelma. There was moments in the fight where Atelma would get out of range just by using his legs, and it was phenomenal to see that he was still able to just plant himself and was still on balance. That's really impressive. It really shows that, this guy is athletic, he's got great fundamentals, he's got great foot speed, great footwork. Man's going to be a problem. He really
Yeah, so these are basic elements that is going to make Moises Otama a very dangerous heavyweight to begin with.
Well, the counter punching was really, really good from Atelma. It was really on point, as you saw with, in particular, the final knockdown. That was just brilliant. Atelma came out in this first round, and the skill gap and speed gap was there. He did hurt Mike Balogun and then dropped him in the first round, but Balogun was able to rally back and didn't have a chance of winning like that round or anything like that, no. But he was able to see the final bell, drop very early in the second round, very heavily, came back, fought back, and then was hit with another counter right hook. I should really be saying that, left hook, right hook, and that was all she wrote. When I look at that, I think against Bakoli, it's going to be interesting, because yes, Anderson had speed, but he didn't really have any of the heavy artillery to be able to really bother Martin Bakoli, and as well as that, he wasn't able to use his feet well enough to get out of the way. And I think that Moises Otama can do that. Having said that, I would preferably like to see him in there with someone like Jermaine Franklin next. And I'll tell you why. Because Jermaine Franklin...
You know what? That's a good fight. You guys know who Jermaine Franklin is? That was Anthony Joshua's comeback fight. And he also got into a fight with Dylan White as well. Jermaine Franklin is an American heavyweight. Yeah, man, that would be a good fight for him sometime down the road. But I don't know, man. I just feel that the guy is already dangerous as he is, and I think that he can do very well stepping up in competition. But, one never knows.
Is better than we originally thought a couple of years ago when he was brought in as an opponent for Dylan White. Some people, I'm not one of them, but some people do feel as though he did beat Dylan White that night in the O Arena up in Wembley. And I'm not one of them, but he was very competitive, he was very game. And against Anthony Joshua...
Yeah, by the way, Jermaine Taylor, man, very underrated American heavyweight, for sure. Very underrated.
Did nick a couple of rounds off him, and obviously saw the final bell. So he's durable, he's awkward, he's not the biggest puncher in the world, but he's a tough night's work for any man. And I think that Atelma, at this stage in his career, that fight right there will do so much. Because I'll tell you why as well. Franklin will come to win, he'll come to fight, but he's not going to be as aggressive as, say, like a Mike Malone. I don't think he will anyway. But he's tough, he's cute. He's been in there with two very big punchers in Dylan White and Anthony Joshua. Neither of them, Dylan White, I guess you could say, did stun him.
So, okay, that is a good test for Moises Otama, right? Hard punchers like Anthony Joshua and Dylan White. He's been in there with them. So this is definitely a good test for Moises Otama facing a guy like that. I agree with G-Man Boxing. This is why I like G-Man Boxing, bro. He knows his boxing like I know my MMA. Shout out to my Irish brother, G-Man Boxing.
A couple of times, but again, he takes the shots pretty well. So I think for me, that Atelma versus Jermaine Franklin right now, that's really going to give us a great indication as to where we can go, whether we can go full steam ahead. Martin Bacoli and potentially world titles next year. I think he beats Jermaine Franklin, but the manner of which he does it will tell us kind of the speed we can bring him around at. I think this guy is a problem. I've said it before. I've said it since the amateur days, but he really is just so impressive. When you watch Atelma, honestly, he is so flippin' impressive. He really, truly is, and I do think he is a level above the guys at the domestic scene, the Jamie TKVs of the world, the David Elias. I think he is above them. I would still like to see him fight them. You know, if David Elias wins against Jamie TKV, it's an in-house fight. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't make it. But at the end of the day, I would probably say that, yeah, he probably is ahead of those guys. In fact, I think he definitely is. So, an incredible talent in young Moses Atelma, really phenomenal, a good performance. Let's wait and see. Bacoli, I really don't know if Frank would even do that fight next. It could just be Frank using his name to just further Moses along and having him there ringside. But for sure, I think that Jermaine Franklin fight next for Atelma. And listen, he can go. There's no need for him to be able to ring for 6 months again unless he's injured. He can go again. I'm not advising it, but he can go again next week if needs be.
I agree with that. He can definitely go again next week. Again, this is what Mike Tyson did back in the days, right? If there was a fight that was available or if he wasn't hurt, he would jump right on it straight away and get that fight going.
So I would like to see him. Actually, I'd love to see him out on the Usyk Dubois undercard. You know, make it a show full of heavyweights. Get Parker on there, not against Atelma, of course. But, you know, there you go. You know, have Atelma on there against the Jermaine Franklin, and there you go. Apparently, he's #1 ranked by the WBO, so inevitably, once Parker gets his...
There it is. That's what I was telling you guys. He's #1 ranked in the WBO right now. Look, here's the thing, right? Do you think that ranking was set up? You know, you're trying to set him up so that he can beat the record of some sort, right? Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe. Who knows?
Crack. I mean, ideally, he should have a final eliminator, but Frank WBO, inevitably, you would imagine he's going to be named mandatory before long. Because Joseph Parker's going to get his shot, and then within a year, it'll likely be a Atelma shot. So he is looking to go down the WBO route, of course. Frank Warren fighter. So I would, honestly, you know, I mean, we could be looking at a guy in the next 12 months being world champion. And if he is world champion in the next 12 months, he's not going to break Tyson's record, but he will break Kirby Hyde's record, youngest British world champion. So there you go. That's at least... That's still... Okay,
very interesting, right? He will beat the record for being the youngest British heavyweight champion ever, but not Mike Tyson as overall world level, statistics. But still, impressive nonetheless. G-Man Boxing is right about that.
Still an achievement in of itself, you know. Still an achievement. Younger than... He was 22, so Atelma's still got plenty of time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
All right, so guys, that is all that I'm going to have for the live stream right now. I will leave 12 minutes of audio right now for the Nate Diaz street fights in Russia. I'm going to give you guys the audio form of that right now. If you want to check out the video form, which I have visuals for, go check it out right now. It is on my video section. It's called Nate Diaz Street Fights Russians in Thailand. Matter of fact, let me show you this real quick, just to kind of give context. This video right here, okay? I'm going to play this in audio form, but for now, this is goodbye, but not the last time you will see me. So I will see you guys in the next topic, in the next live stream. I'm going to leave this one up for audio form. If you guys want to see the video, go check it out. We'll see you soon, okay? Diaz gets into a street fight in Thailand. I mean, Nate Diaz gets into a street fight, period. Is that surprising in any kind of way?
How's that feel? Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfucker.
Well, let's be honest about this. In reality, who can be really surprised about that? Nick and Nate Diaz have a history of going at it with people from Jason Mayhem Miller all the way to Khabib, all the way to the Logan Paul lookalike in New Orleans during a Misfits event. I mean, the list goes on. But I tell you what, it's just business as usual. What do you expect? You got a bunch of hot-headed Russians who, by the way, some of them are affiliated with Khabib. And then you got Nate Diaz in Thailand in a very hot weather with a bunch of Russians. By the way, guys that we already know he has a previous beef with. Now, let's take a look at the guy that he got into it with, right? We got an Instagram page of his that you guys should take a look at right here as you see him sort of throwing punches. Yeah, shout out to Mayhem Miller from Marty Miller himself. One Miller to another. It's Miller time. It's right here as it was going down. So it sort of started like this where Nate was like, yeah, man, what's up? What's up? You know what I'm saying? Stockton 209. Yeah. And he's like, what, fool? What's up, fool? And then somebody's over there sort of holding him back. This guy right here, same guy as the guy that was riding in a moped, driving Jon Jones around. The same guy, the guy in the middle right here, right next to the guy that is being choked. Not the guy that is doing the choking, but the guy next to the guy that's being choked, right next to the guy that has the Brooklyn shirt. Hey, weirdly enough, look, he's got the Thailand shirt right there, right? Sort of a little bit ironic, like as if he knew he was going to get into a fight with Nate Diaz in Thailand, and so he wore that shirt for this video specifically. No, obviously that's not the case. But all right, more on this particular, that of the UFC, right? An off-week schedule, no fights. There were a few boxing cards. By the way, check out my live stream that I did for Josh Taylor versus Ikao Ezuman, which, by the way, I also did a reaction to Prince Nassim's final fight in relationship to what Josh Taylor should do in his third consecutive loss coming up against Ikao, right? So, on to Nate Diaz. Is anybody surprised that Nate Diaz got into a fight in Thailand? I mean, the place doesn't matter at that point, right? But the fact that he got into a fight in Thailand is significant because he was out there shooting for Russia's Ultimate Fighter reality show, along with Jon Jones. That's not what's surprising. Nate Diaz will get into a fight anywhere. Obviously, you remember the Strike Force street fight that he had after the Jake Shields versus Miller fight. If you guys remember that, right? Mayhem Miller was an opponent of Jake Shields, a long-time training partner of the Diaz brothers. They got into a street fight. What else? Khabib in PFL. They got into a street fight there. How about in New Orleans when he choked the fake Logan Paul, and it literally triggered Logan Paul's dad, like as if it was the real Jake or Logan Paul, but obviously that wasn't the case. Look, Nate Diaz is susceptible to these things, okay? That's really what it is. Now, is he just going to go out there and randomly fight anybody at any time? No. Obviously, he's had beef with Khabib's team for a long time. Now, that may bleed over into dealing with Russians in Thailand. So it is no surprise that he got into a fight with these guys. It's just an insane element of people that you are really looking for a fight. Look, you've seen a lot of these Russian reality shows that deal with mixed martial arts, MMA, boxing, and bare knuckle boxing. You've seen the weigh-ins. You've seen these little press conferences that they have where people are up on a stage talking in a couch and this and that. Next thing you know, it's two Dagestani guys with beards that look like mine all of a sudden scrapping it out right then and there. All right, this is standard business. This is what they do. But now you add Nate Diaz into it, and then you throw them in Thailand. And I'm not going to say it's a lawless country or anything like that, but you can get away with getting into a fight, or at least, by the very least, mutual combat with other people in those countries. not necessarily the type of situation where, let's say, you had Vitaly going into an Asian country, in particular the Philippines, causing the type of mayhem that he did. Also, the likes of Johnny Somali, in which the mayhem that he caused in Korea.
Johnny Somali realized how bad things are for him, hence why his new plan is to eventually flee South Korea, apparently.
I'm renting.
Pero yung nagkakaroon ng 1,300 cases from 2016, we are solving 30 cases a month. So one a day. So
But the Thais, not only do they love Muay Thai is a big part of their culture, but so is street fighting. I've seen this one Arab dude who got jumped by a few of these Thai dudes. I don't know what the reason was. It just says Arab guy gets beat up by a group of these Thai guys, and it was his girlfriend that was sort of backing these guys away or whatever. But that's neither here or there, right? That's
First, as you see in the footage, and a group of Thais who got in a wild brawl at a restaurant on Soy Yen Sabai following a minor traffic accident and refusal to pay any compensation on the Kuwaiti tourist part. Hi, folks.
country, just like any country, everybody street fights, but to the tolerance of the authorities is really what it all comes down to and how they handle it. Obviously, Masvidal got into a street fight against Leon Edwards. How did that work out? Nothing. No charges pressed. He flew out of England straight away, trying to evade the law. And Leon Edwards, well, you know, he comes from the streets. His dad was a street dude. He's not about to play that snitching game in any kind of way. Neither will Jon Jones. Neither will the Russians who come from an honor culture, and especially not the Dagestanis. So all of this is just normal, standard behavior by the end of the day. Now, Nate Diaz, on the other hand, I don't know, man. The guy is out of his mind. But you know what? People love it. People love it. And you know what? People can't understand why. Well, I think most people, especially in Western countries, right, where there is a dominance of, let's say, urban hip-hop or ghetto culture of some sort, right, whether that would be in the U.S. or the UK or Ireland, they love the Nate Diaz types of the world. But for somebody like Khabib and somebody like the Russians, or in particular the Dagestanis, this is just not the type of culture that they're into. They don't like people that sort of flaunt the fact that they go and smoke weed in front of the public. They don't like the fact that these people go out and cuss or do all these things that's just, you know, absolutely un-Islamic behavior to their standards. But Nate Diaz, on the other hand, he's a petty dude. He's Fresh Melon Juice says Saturdays leading up to UFC fights is the perfect slot to create content. Nothing new is posted on Saturdays. Just a tip. All right, man. Thank you for that advice. That's actually sort of the reason why I dropped a few videos last night. I figured I was like, you know, I haven't made videos in a while. My past videos didn't do too good, so I figured I just, you know, get in there and yeah, you know, do something new. But yeah, shout out to Fresh Melon Juice on that tip right there, my man. It's one of these dudes that he just smacks you one time, even if you beat the living hell out of him, and he'll take that as a win. And that's really all there is to it. But I can guarantee you right now, this won't be the last time Nate Diaz will get into a street fight anywhere in the world. At least, yeah. At least not right now. Maybe when he gets older, but then again, you never know. There's guys out there like Whack 100, 47 years old, trying to get into a fight with the likes of Aaron the Plumber. And by the way, that's another story in and of itself, right? Sort of a little side quest story that we're going to get into right now. Here's what it is. You guys know what happened. Aaron the Plumber snitched on Whack 100. Now, I don't agree with it because there was a time where Aaron the Plumber did subscribe to the social contract of the honor culture in the streets, very similar to that of Nate Diaz and those Russians and anybody that's part of the gang world or criminal organizations or anything to that particular trajectory. If you're in that part of the world, I don't think you should play both sides. Now Aaron is saying that he's now a civilian, He's a plumber. He's a journeyman plumber. He's also a reality TV show star. Now he says that I don't need to be in this part of the world anymore. I'm going to go snitch, primarily because his mom was threatened by Whack 100. Now, here's the weird thing. Aaron has been shot before. Did you guys know that? But he never snitched on the guy that actually shot him, and he probably knows who it is, allegedly. I don't know. That's not my thing to do, right? That's not for me to... Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. He never snitched on a guy, but he's going to snitch on Whack 100. And I guess it kind of draws the line where you are going after families and this and that. But even that, I don't know, man. Here's the thing that you got to understand. If you're the type of guy like Nate Diaz who pumps his chest out thinking that you're going to go and beat everybody up, and by the way, I'm really no different in that particular light, right? Like, if you mess with me in any kind of way, I'll knock your head off. There's no doubt about that. If you offend me in any kind of way, I'm lifting you 10 feet in the air. I don't care who saw me, just jaw you, call you a lawyer. You know, the rest of the song with Eminem. You know how that goes. But anyways, on any regard, here's one thing that I will say. If you're that type of guy, you have to hold yourself to a certain set of standards. Just like Leon Edwards. He got punched on, and guess what? He never told the cops. Okay, Nate Diaz, he's been violated a few times. Fresh Melon Juice, it's Sunday. Take us to church today. Mosque yesterday, church today. Shout out to you, my man. Yeah, man. I don't know if I mean, I'm sure I'm sure Christians invite anybody in church, but yeah, I don't know. You know, wouldn't be a good look for me, Fresh Melon Juice. But shout out to you, my man. By Khabib and his team. He's also violated Khabib and his team. And by the way, I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday as well. They do, yeah, they do. Christians are very welcoming. That's one thing I can absolutely say about them. But yeah, man, shout out to you, Fresh Melon Juice. I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday as always. Nobody ever called it. And God bless you, my brother. Cops. That's how this goes. That's how all of this goes. Okay, if you are that guy and you feel that you are one of the toughest guys to walk in a room, it's just not what you do. You don't call the police. You handle your own candle. But on any regard, that's all that I could really say for this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next topic, in the next video, in the next live stream, more importantly, that I've been doing more often. Like and subscribe. I'm going to drop the most epic content that mixed martial arts YouTube has ever seen. And I promise you that. MMA needs, if you want to find predictions, news, and everything that deals with MMA, shout outs to Kyrie, El-Kheer MMA, Sacramento, California, represent.
That's right, Kyrie. I appreciate you, my nigga. You came in here and you was talking that shit. That's right, bro. Much love, Flo. I appreciate you for always stepping in, bro. Be safe out there. Man, my nigga Kyrie. My man Kyrie came through. He started talking that shit. Hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing. That nigga will whoop your fucking ass. You would think that nigga's all squared up and all that type of shit. Nigga come through and beat your fucking ass. Like, man, fuck you up. You would never see it coming. So for those of y'all...
All right, so that concludes our Sunday live stream. Thank you, everybody, for tapping in. I want to give a special shout out to Fresh Melon Juice, Marty Miller, also NJ03, also Paradox the Chad. Shout out to you, my man. Hetero Catboy, Sawani, anything can be explained. Also, Fresh Melon Juice, once again. Who else here? Who else was in the chat? Sawani, Cheddarhead. Shout out to Cheddarhead. Shout out to you, my man. Thank you for tapping in. MMA Paradox, Ali. Shout out to my man Ali. All right. Western Mass Climber, shout outs to you. Also, Mom's Demand on Full Auto, shout outs to you. Also, Techie Gamers, shout outs to you. Also, James Dillon, shout outs to you. James Dillon, with the Rebecca comment. Bold and Brash, shout outs to Bold and Brash. Also, was Sapatora, NJ03, and everybody around the world. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, check out all my new videos. I will see you guys in the next one, inshallah. And God bless to all of you.